Welcome in. We are having a conversation and wanted to bring you all into it as well around just our own spiritual practices and how they've evolved over the years and what they've looked like, what we've felt that we need in the moment in order to feel that connection with source, with God, with universal life, creator, the divine, whatever you choose to call it, this something greater than ourselves, this stream of well-being, so many different terminologies, right? That but it's all the same, and it's all inclusive. It's not exclusive of any religion. It's not a separate religion, because it's not a religion. It's part of who we all are as human beings, because we all have a soul and we all have a spirit. So, yeah.
Yeah.
What do you?
So I'm just going to jump in. I'm just jump
Yeah,
right in,
jump
Diane,
right
because
in.
when you were talking, it feels like a divine right.
Mm.
I can claim my divine right. And that was what was coming up as I was
Cool.
listening to you talk.
Chills.
And
Beautiful.
and a lot of us stepped onto our spiritual path. I like to call it the path, the journey, whatever words work.
Yeah.
And we're like, how do they do that? How is she doing that? How are they accessing something? Like, I need to seek that within me. How do I find that place? And I think a lot of us early on step right in line um, to seeking watching what other people do. I think that's part of the path. We watch what other people do
Mm.
um, and join a class or hop on a Zoom and strive to be around people who are I'll say who are exuding their light, right? We're
Yeah.
attracted to that, right? Oh,
Right.
what's going on over there? Like, wow, I feel that. But over
Mhm.
here, stuck in my real day, I got to get up every morning. I got to make breakfast, pack the lunch boxes, fold the laundry, and how do people do that? And that was a little bit of that's kind of a discovery. It's a self-discovery.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, this is again always an organic conversation. And so, Diane, how did you, and I know you did a lot of yoga, but how did you find yourself kind of like moving into like your daily practice, daily connection?
Wow. Um, it has varied so much over the years, honestly. And I've shared before, like, many moments of connection and releasing energies that aren't serving me anymore, past traumas, limiting beliefs on my yoga mat. I got into yoga for the physical benefits of it.
Right.
I was a little honestly turned off by the other aspects of it in the beginning. It was like, I just want to feel good in my body. It wasn't so much like looking, physically fit. I just knew that I felt better when I was doing the physical practice of yoga. And I remember back when I joined a yoga teacher training back in, I think it was 2005. It was 2005. One of the first days of our class, there was a question of, it was something about self-actualization. Like, what does self-actualization mean to you? And I'm thinking, like, what have I gotten myself into? Like, I'm just
Right.
here to like move my body. What are they talking about? And that, I'll never forget that. I think that question really got me started on going inwards, not just to feel better physically, but I want to feel better internally. What does this mean? I want to have a connection with something greater than myself. But little did I know at that time that something greater than myself is actually within myself. Right. And so there's so many spiritual practices and tools out there that we can use, we can connect with, and they're all beautiful. I mean, I've done everything from the practice of yoga to breathing to meditation to mantras, affirmations, crystals, gemstones, oracle cards, tarot cards, journaling, spiritual readings from the Bible and the Bhagavad Gita. I can never say that. That beautiful word, and other, other spiritual texts and readings. But it always comes back to, for me, the connection, I think, with my breath in the present moment. I'll tell you this real quick, and then I'm going to turn it over to you. I remember
Take your time.
one evening, this was years ago, I was standing I was washing dishes in my kitchen, and it was not quite dark all the way out. And we had this big, we still have it, this big bush. It's like just this big giant bush between my house and my neighbor's house. And I looked out the window and I saw my face within this bush. And it was this realization, like, I'm part of that. Like, that's part of me and I'm part of that. And we're both alive at this moment. And it was like the bush was breathing and expanding as I was breathing and expanding. And it was just this like trance-like moment that I was so captivated with. And there was a big shift that happened in me that evening. So
Well, that's
I would
beautiful.
love, yeah, it was beautiful. I would
Yeah.
love for you to share some of what you've.
So I'll jump in. And Diane doesn't know I'm going to go here because we didn't talk about this ahead of time.
Organic, it's always
I'm
organic
listening to your,
conversation.
and I'm listening to that beautiful, like gentle, like, I'm going to use the word seeking, like that gentle soothing and seeking, like
Yeah.
how, and that being exposed to it. And I was, I wanted to say revealing. I am remembering, as I'm revealing within my own that, yeah, I didn't have that. Right? I feel that
You had the rude awakening.
I had I signed the document that said, yeah, you're going to go down and you're going to have like all of this beautiful stuff happening, and then you're going to hit a stone wall and shit's going to hit the fan. And that is exactly what I went
Oh, I
through.
didn't tell you that part of my story. It's not all, it's not
And
all
I'm
roses.
not getting into the detail, but I found myself kind of like on a reverse trajectory of everything kind of like coming at me at once. And how do I find myself in that? Right. There was and there wasn't things coming at me from the outside. It was things coming at me from the inside. Um, I'm just going to mention a couple, and I don't want to make this all about that, like spirit animals and having those experiences. What does this mean? And um, angels and visitors and hearing, and am I in fear of what I'm hearing, and just those things that were happening to me that were like, wake up. That's what it, and like I that was my wake up call as I was dealing with what was going on in my outside life. And that was perfectly designed for me. Right?
Yeah.
I can't imagine having to, how do I find myself in all of this? And what does this mean for me? And then beautifully, like I'm just gonna like the crystals and like kneading. I've got my spray, I still have all these things around me. I have my Malabi, like I have the things around me. And beautifully meeting you exactly where you left off, where years of searching of how to, and going through trainings and certifications and classes. Perfect. No regrets. Learning that the quickest and most simple way was in the breath.
Yeah.
Right. And I feel like that's where we kind of meet. Right there it is. Like, what does that even mean? What did that, you could have told me early on in my journey and sat me down and said, girl, you just need to find your breath. And I would have been like, no, it's not possible. I just needed to find the breath. And when I settled in with that and found my center and was able to align with all of that, then it was like, now I get a little bit more. And I don't even know if like that matches, not matches, but like kind of meets you where my hands are kind of meeting off screen. But that is there was a lot of outside stuff coming at me, in
Mhm.
stuff coming at me, and and I'll use example of you when you were talking about looking out the window and seeing like that, like, where am I in this?
Mhm.
And my photographs were coming in. I was taking a lot of pictures, and I was seeing a lot in my pictures. The cloud, you and I look at the cloud. We talk about the clouds a lot. We take
We
pictures of
do.
the clouds. I love my little cloud beings and receiving messaging from the clouds. But that was showing up as a like a 3D thing, like just like the synchronicities, right?
Mhm.
It was
Mhm.
like this another beautiful soft layer of like, wow, look at that. Look at that. Like we were,
Yeah.
I'll use an example. Like we were talking about a dragon earlier, and I swear there's a dragon in the clouds, and there's excitement that comes through that, but there's often
Mhm.
some ungrounding too. And we can get very swept up. And I was typically the person who got very swept up.
Mhm.
Um, but the breath, always coming back to the breath. And that is probably the single most um these days, the single most tool that I use,
Yeah.
breathing into the heart. Yeah. And you want to talk about the breath more?
Yeah. Yes, and I was also going to say for me, it's definitely the breath, and it's and I know for you as well, it's connecting with nature.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember this time when I just went for a walk in the woods, and I was actually walking back to my car through the parking lot, and the way the sunlight was hitting this, it was this tiny little puddle, really was looked like maybe it was like part of a stream or something, but it was like a very small body of water with these beautiful like grasses around, reeds, maybe some flowers. And it just like the light sparkling on the water and reflecting off the reeds caught my eye, and it brought me to my knees. I
Mm.
just started crying, and because it was just, I just felt so connected in that moment, and just so over flowing, my heart overflowing with just gratitude for the simplicity of beauty that we just take for granted. We
Yeah.
just don't even, I mean, so many people don't even look up from their phones or their computers
Yeah.
or whatever they're reading most of the day to just, like look at the trees or look up at the sky, look up at the clouds or notice the sunlight. And I think when we start, I mean, I've always been connected to the natural world from a very young age, and it's really where I found my solace when I was a child. Didn't want to go home to what was happening there. So I would always retreat there, and felt so just held and supported and protected, whether I was, you know, climbing on rocks or building forts out of branches
Mhm.
or
Yeah.
snow forts or, whatever, but just, um, and yes, the breath, like coming into the breath. I, have been working with clients for years, in a few different capacities, but it comes down to the breath. And was a massage therapist for many years, and people would come in wanting like a deep tissue massage, but they were so knotted up and so tense and so tight. There was no way I could even give them a deep tissue massage until they started releasing
Yeah.
some of the tension and the stress in their bodies on their own. And so I would coach them, okay, I would maybe just, put my hand on their shoulder lightly and just, okay, if they had a shoulder pain or whatever, um, you know, send the breath right there, like right in that place, right wherever you feel, tension and tightness. Just visualize, almost like you visualize, like maybe you have a little set of lungs in that part of your body, and you're just letting the breath move right there and releasing and softening, and 9.9 times out of 10, it was almost like magic, like just a few deep breaths, and you could just feel their soft tissues, their muscles just calming down, relaxing, softening into the moment as they connect with this life force energy that we call the
Yes.
breath.
Beautiful. I
Beautiful.
love that you
Yeah.
just said that. The
Yeah.
life force energy that is the breath, right?
Yeah.
We are in these human bodies. We have to manage them. They get tense.
Yeah.
I know that my beautiful massage therapist is always like, "Oh, girl, like you're holding it all right here." I'm like, "I know.
Yeah.
I could write the story about it." And we need and it's okay, I think, also to use the crystal, like
Yeah.
and reach out for, a lot of people like to burn palo around them and clear their space. Like these
Mhm.
were all very supportive tools. And I think, and like water, like, do you need, okay, like, I'm just gonna hold, like, do you need to drink your water out of copper? Does it need to be fresh, fresh filtered spring water? It's all okay. And you are on this journey of I can reach out for these things, they're there for me, and I always find that the more natural they are, the better.
Mhm.
Flower essences, have we ever talked about flower
Mm.
essences? Oh my
We
god.
haven't, no.
Flower essences have been such a beautiful, connector and grounder for me,
Mhm.
and, always help me feel more aligned, just that energetic, that I'm gonna say it, like, their connection back to Lemuria, like, the
Mm.
flowers being a gift from Lemuria to us. Um it the writing and the moving through and the expressing, like, those are all part of the journey to aligning, to feeling the alignment. I feel like we all are aligned, but we get off track. The
Yeah.
laundry
We're
calls,
out of
not every
alignment, right?
I can't get up every morning, and sit in a meditative position every day before I start my day. It's just not something I can. There were times I tried it and I did it and it was beautiful and I could note my day was actually probably better, and it wasn't realistic for my life.
Mm.
And I had to give myself that forgiveness that you're okay, even though everyone was telling me you have to start the day, you have to do this, and it was like, and you find your way, use the tools, don't push them away, but find what works best. What is your best practice?
Yeah.
What is best for you? And I think the more you get into that alignment and get to know, I'm feeling like I want to say getting to know how she feels, right? Like getting to
Yeah.
know her again, that it's okay to shift it up. Like, I don't need
Mhm.
that anymore. I don't need this. I have a pile of crystals that I'm just not needing to work with me anymore and
Mm.
need to go to other people and just lovingly release it. Um, there is um, there is no perfect path.
Right.
And once,
It's so
yeah,
individual.
yeah,
Mhm.
but the breath seems to be the common denominator,
Yeah.
right? Bringing us back into the body and connecting and aligning with our higher selves, our
Mhm.
soul, bringing our soul and our connection and our light. And there is nothing more beautiful than that. And if I'm just going to throw this out, like, Diane and I have worked with people and their energy and doing healing work with them and helping them through that journey. Um, you know, that's Oh, what do I want to say about that? That's been part of our journey, and don't think twice about reaching out to practitioners. Just find somebody you align with, somebody you feel in your heart is gonna, like, oh, I really feel like that was the one thing most of my clients said to me. I really felt like I was supposed to sit with you.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, okay. Like, let's explore this because I'm not sure what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're all everyone, all the tools are out there for you, and all the people are out there who have been through a piece of this journey, who are out there ready to hold your hand.
Yeah.
And if you feel it, you reach out.
Right. We're not meant to go at it alone. I wouldn't be where I am today had it not been for the many teachers, healing practitioners that I worked with, that I have worked with, and I still will work with over the years and the years to come. And I lost my train of thought. I was going to say something. You were talking about the flower
Oh
essences
yeah,
and essential oils too,
essential
because
oils.
everything holds a vibration, right? A certain frequency. And so we resonate with certain frequencies. There's some essential oils I do not care for that you probably might love, right? And vice versa. But again, there's no right or wrong. If you're not somebody who likes the scent of lavender, then that's okay. You don't have to like the scent of, you
Right,
don't have to
right.
use it, right? There's other
There's
alternatives.
just that, and this is not for me. There's so much
Yeah,
power in that, right?
right,
Otherwise,
right.
we'd sit in every class and we would have everything, and we would be banging gongs and having, right, like, and have crystal bowls all over our houses. And nothing wrong with that. I love that. I would love to go to somebody's house who has that. Um,
Hmm.
but that's when you kind of feel like, oh, that's just really not for me, or not for me yet. Like, that's being in your alignment. That's
Yeah,
like being with your resonation, and where am I and how am I connecting? And I'm connecting with the sound, right? I'm connecting with just the sound.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
I love a singing bowl,
I love a
right?
singing bowl. I love a singing bowl. I love a lot of singing bowls. I
Yeah.
love going
Yeah.
to a sound
I love
healing
I was
meditation.
just gonna say, I'm actually going to an equinox one on
Oh,
next Sunday
beautiful.
for the equinox coming in. But
Beautiful.
but a lot of times, like YouTube, I'll go on YouTube and pop in the
Yeah,
earphones and just
listen.
listen and feel the frequencies. And that was a lot
Right.
of bit about how of aligning also.
Oh yeah, sound.
Using guided meditations on
Mhm.
YouTube was probably the biggest catalyst for me. Like, wow, I can do this. Like, wow, where did I just go? What, like, amazing. I want more. I want more. How do I see her again? How do I meet and feel her again? Um, yeah. So there's all kinds of things out there for us, but just
There,
always using discernment. Yeah.
yeah, using your discernment, following your intuition, knowing that, and I think another thing is fear. A lot of people, who I've known over the years have had fears around, the mystical or the metaphysics, right? People who come from, um, religious backgrounds, in particular. And I don't know if we probably want to do this in another conversation, but just talking about spirituality versus religion.
Yeah. That sounds definitely
That's
another video. Yeah.
that's another video, but just, knowing that spirituality is part of who we are. It is within us.
Yes.
Religion is, I look at it more as, the word that's coming to me is tool. It's not so
Mhm.
much tool, it's a practice or whatever that ties in beautifully. It can tie in beautifully, with the spiritual part of you, right? Your spirituality. And so, there is nothing to be afraid of because
Mm.
it all comes from love. Um, at least the energy and the spirits that Karen and I work with for the most part, right?
It's a
Um,
journey.
yeah, yeah.
Journey. Beautiful. And I think that's a whole nother conversation we can take on for sure. And
So
bring
many things to talk
beautiful.
about. So many
Yeah.
things to talk about because yes, there are, energies out there just talking to a coworker yesterday about, she's working with some clients with they're releasing, energy attachments, darker energies. And so that's another conversation.
Another
We won't
conversation.
go there today.
So right now we're going to grab our crystals and we're going to get back
Yes,
with the
I
breath,
have
and
my,
just know that
beautiful,
everyone, oh my
it's
gosh,
not a
I,
crystal, but it is
ah,
it's a sea stone. Yeah, it's a sea stone from the North Shore,
the North Boston.
Massachusetts, where I'm from.
And
But
Diane and I had a beautiful upbringing on different sides of the harbor
yes.
where we didn't know each other until we were in our young adulthood, but of growing up on the water, and connecting with the water, and
Mm.
the New England wetlands, and it has a feel, and a certain feel to it, to be part of that and have it be part of our history,
Mhm.
and it is there for us still. I know that I think often back, being on the boats and being
Yes.
out and
Yes,
the experiences and being with the sun and being with the
the wind,
stars,
the
the
salt,
wind, yeah, the
stars,
salt.
yes, yes, the whales. I remember
I was waiting, I was waiting for you to
hearing
say the whales.
whales out on
The whales, Cape of,
our
out on
family
Buzzards
boat.
Bay.
Yes.
They're out
And I
there.
bring them back, you know, I'll be laying in bed some nights and I just bring myself right there. Like I'll, because I live in, uh, 2 hours from the coast, away from the coast in North Carolina now. But I will bring in the smell of the salt air and the feeling of the water on the cold water and slippery rocks and the seaweed and the crabs and yeah,
Yeah,
all of it.
it's beautiful. And it was all just there for us, and we just connected as kids. We did exactly what we knew to do as children. Go
Right.
out, touch it, be on it, play in it, be part of it. And then we grow up, and then we get separated a little bit from ourselves. We get into our
Separation.
worlds, and we take on belief systems and ideologies and programs and fear, and then one day we wake up and we say, how do I get back? And I think that's how we started this conversation.
Yeah. And I think so many people maybe don't even ever have that question, how do I get back? It's just like, what's missing? There's something.
Right.
That was what it was for me. It wasn't like I remembered at the time. It was just like, this is not the way it's supposed to be. Like, this can't be, this can't be what my life is supposed to be.
Yeah, I like that.
There's
This is
gotta
not
be
how my
some,
life, this is
there's gotta
not
be
how it's
something,
gonna be.
there's gotta be something else because I don't want to
Exactly.
stick around if this is going to continue.
Exactly. Beautiful.
But to give
Amazing.
everybody hope, yeah, that if you are just starting out on your journey, or maybe you just kind of explore, maybe just stumbled on this video or one of our other videos, and this is all like new information to you, or you've been on this path, this journey for a long time, longer than even we have.
Yeah.
You're all supposed to be here. We're all supposed to be together, part of this community. We welcome you in and we welcome any comments, questions. If you're ever interested in working with us, we would love to do that as well. So,
Amazing. Yeah, drop a
yeah,
comment. Maybe something I said resonated, maybe some
yeah,
Diane said resonated. Let us know. And I think that I think the beauty of this is bringing together these different experiences, but
mhm,
coming together at the same place and always coming back to the light
exactly.
within
Yeah.
the Soul Light Collective.
So like, all
All
right,
right.
friends, we will see you next time. Thanks for joining us. Everybody
Thanks,
take
Diane.
care.